Right guys, so back at Into Moto in Warrington, and today I am playing on this little beauty. So it's the Kawasaki ER-6f. What do you think? I really love the green colour. We'll stay with the same format. What I'm going to do is I'll go and have a ride round. I'll go and find us a place to have a little walk around the bike. I'll show you what I like. And then, as always, join me for the test ride, because then you can see what it feels like, what it rides like. This bike is currently for sale with Into Moto behind me in Warrington. So if you're interested, I'll put a link to their website in the description. And if you've not already, hit that subscribe button. And before I go, got to mention again, I am sporting the Oxford jacket again. I am such a fan of this thing. I think I'm going to be wearing this every time it's not raining. I'm going to be in this hoodie because it's so comfortable compared to the other biking jackets I've got. It just feels so much better. You feel a little bit more free when you're riding, and don't think that means that it's not safe, because it's got a nice little lining. It's got all of your protection pads and stuff on, so yeah, it looks good, it feels nice. These guys sell Oxford as well. Enough chatting, let's go play. So here we are. I've had a little ride round already. What do we think of it? So it looks relatively sporty, nice fairing, lovely paint job, love the green. The pegs are slightly higher and slightly further back to what I'm usually comfortable with. Not quite sporty, not quite perfectly set up, so just a slight bend in the back, but that's it. It's comfortable. You could spend hours on it. I could anyway. If you've had one of these, if you've got one of these, if you're thinking about getting one of these, drop me a comment. If you've got any questions about this, I'll try my best to answer it. If I can't, I'll speak to Into Moto myself and I'll see if they can answer it. But let's have a look round anyway. The sexy close-up. Right, I'll put the specs and everything on at the end, because you know what I'm like. I don't want to give you any duff info. I like this style of exhaust. It just looks nicely hidden, doesn't it? There's nothing kind of big and bulbous sticking out like there is on a couple of the brand new bikes. Single disc at the back, twin disc at the front. And from my little ride that I've had already, I can confirm it stops really, really well. So the brakes are good. Yeah, I think it's a good looking bike. I do like this tinted screen as well. I don't know if this is an aftermarket or it came with it originally, but I think it sets the bike off really nicely. It has got these shad panniers. Now these panniers, they're a decent size, but you do notice it when you're filtering. The rubber crash bungs on, the R&G bungs, I like that. This bike is a couple of years old, and it kind of carries its age really well. I think it's a really tidy bike, this. For a used bike, it is nice and tidy. As far as your buttons go, unless you've got loads of modes and stuff, you pretty much have this. So we've just got horn indicator, high, low beam, and we've got your hazards. We've got your light flash there as well. On the right side, just your engine cutoff and your engine start button. It does have a fuel gauge, which I'm a massive fan of. It's got your miles on, so this is the current miles on this bike, just under 10,500. We've got a clock as well. Your warning lights and things over here. If you're interested in the facts and figures for this bike, I'll put them at the end. I wouldn't expect it to stay in that garage for long. That being said, Into Moto, I've always got a fresh bunch of used bikes coming into the shop. If you have a look and it's not there, I'm sure they can search their stock. They might have one just like it. It's always worth asking anyway. Enough gabbing. I want to go and do some more riding. I'm going to take this bike on the motorway so we can see how it performs with wind protection, etc. I'm going to take it on a few different types of roads, busy traffic, etc. Join me for that. Enough chatting, let's go riding. This bike, albeit it's not that old, but it rides like you would expect a new bike to ride. Goes through the gears really nicely. Feels nice and comfortable. It picks up speed really nicely, this bike. In the blink of an eye, I was doing the speed limit. Give it a little junction down the motorway anyway. Let's see what it's like. 70 mile an hour. Absolutely no issues whatsoever with that. That screen, even though it is very low, I would say, is doing a brilliant job of just hitting the wind over my head. You could have a lot of fun with this bike. You can throw it around quite a bit. I don't feel that comfortable now on a sports bike. I'm alright for an hour or so, but for a day out, I think sports bikes for me, I'm past that. Unless I lost a bit of weight, but at the minute I don't feel comfortable for more than an hour. Starts to hurt the wrists, hurt the back. But this gives you that kind of happy in between, so it's got a bit of a sporty look to it, I think. You let me know in the comments if you disagree, but I think it's got a nice fur into it and it does look relatively sporty, but you don't have that sporty riding position where you feel like you're gonna hurt your wrists and stuff after prolonged riding. It just feels like a touring bike where you sat up pretty much straight, and that for me is what I look for now in a bike. I look for comfort. It's got to look nice, but I look for comfort as well, and this has got the comfort and it looks nice. When it comes to me buying a new bike, I wouldn't look anywhere else other than into Moto now, because I've got to know them that well that, you know, they are a very, very nice bunch of people that work there, and they are just very honest as well, so I can't recommend them enough. Now, as far as this bike goes, I've had a go on all different types of roads. I've got stuck in traffic in it. I've been on it for a while, and you know, in summary, it's a very comfortable bike to ride. This, the riding position, you're not leaning over so it's a bit heavy on your wrists, so there's no issue with that. You're not bent forward so you're getting any sort of backache, which I expected, to be honest, with the sporty look of the bike. But it's just a comfortable riding position. It's nice. As far as size goes, yes, it is quite a big bike, and yes, the panniers make a difference, but if you're that bothered, you can take them off. They're nice and easy to remove. Enough power to keep you smiling, or it certainly kept me smiling. For me, I would be quite happy with a bike like this to do work commutes on, to have a play on the Sunday, etc. If you're a new rider, if you've just passed your test and you're looking for your first big bike, I think you could do far worse than something like this, you know. I'm going to take this bike back now into Moto, and if you're interested in this bike, go and have a look. If you're worried about size, it's just dead easy to go in there and just ask the guys and girls. I'm sure they'd be happy to go and throw your leg over it to see how it fits you. But I like it. I've had a nice little play on it. Hell of a lot of bike for not a lot of money. Anyway, that's going to do me for today. I'm back at Into Moto. I'm done for the day. I'm going home having my tea, so I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.